Representative Cherfilus-McCormick, you're recognized for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Secretary, for being here today. I have a few questions for you. Would you agree that housing is an important priority for our veterans?
In generalization question, I mean, is housing important for anyone? I mean, I
That was a
apologize,
question
I'm
for
not
you.
sure what.
Do you
what you're looking
prioritize
for.
veterans' benefits when it comes to housing? Making sure that our
I
veterans have
prioritize all the
housing?
benefits that our veterans earn.
No, specifically, it's yes or no then. We can just do yes or no.
Well, if I will do that if it actually answers the question.
Is it a
but
yes or a no, sir?
For what?
Do you prioritize veterans' housing?
I prioritize all
Yes or
veterans'
no?
benefits.
Yes or no, please.
Yes or no to what?
I
mean, we can play this game back and forth.
Secretary Collins, I'm not interested in that. I'm really getting.
It seems you are.
Secretary Collins, I am not interested in that. We have real concerns, especially in the state with our veterans. So could you please answer it yes or no? If you choose not to answer, just say you choose not to answer, and it's not important.
Do we prioritize housing for veterans? Yes. We also prioritize
Thank you.
health care and
Thank you.
everything
So
else.
do you prioritize and fully commit to housing veterans, especially when it comes to flexible assistance to homeless veterans?
Hey, fellow patriots, welcome back to the channel. If you love this country, respect our veterans, and want the truth, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a heated exchange from a recent congressional hearing between Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick and Secretary Collins from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, let me tell you, the media is not giving you the whole story here. They want you to see drama and division. But let's actually talk about what matters. Our veterans, their dignity, and the kind of leadership America needs.
I'll fully commit to helping the veterans in any way we can through the programs we currently have, but I refuse to get the VA involved in something like VAST that we should have never been involved with to start with.
Excuse me, could you please answer my question because we are not talking about VAST. Once again, the question is, if you would like to listen to the question, is do you support providing flexible assistance to our homeless veterans, like access to transportation, hygiene products, blanket support to help our veterans?
The answer is we
Yes or
support
no,
our
sir?
veterans.
Yes or no?
I mean,
Thank you.
yes. But the
Thank
question,
you.
I have a
Do you
question.
believe-
Where are we not?
Do you believe that access to lands owned by VA should be in part used to address veterans' homelessness? That's yes or no?
If the land is suitable,
That's
It
a
can-
yes or
it can
no?
be used.
Yes or no?
I can't give you an answer to a question that has a hypothetical that cannot be answered.
It's a yes or no?
No, it is not.
It is, okay. So we're
Mr.
not
Chairman,
gonna go-
I mean, I
Excuse
cannot
me,
answer a
It's my
hypothetical.
time, sir. It's my time. You don't need to look at the chairman. I'm right here, and it's my time.
I know exactly where you are
Okay,
because I
thank
can't
you.
answer your
So
question.
the respect that I'm giving you, I deserve it also.
I'll get
So
it.
please answer those questions as yes or no, because you're taking up my time with this. So the next question I have for you, now there's so many veterans who are losing their homes, especially in Florida, and we're finding more of them becoming homeless. So my real concern is about the Elizabeth Dole Act. We have a clause in there that actually deals with that, and you have not been implementing it. So that's why I want to identify if this is actually important to you or if it's a priority, because my veterans do want to know if this is one of your priorities.
Yes, it is a priority. Anything in the Dole Act, we will implement.
So why have you not taken it to implement it in these stances?
Because the Dole Act was given at the end of last administration. It came in, and I've been in here over 4 months. There are 72 total provisions in the Dole Act. We've completed 9. We're working on track with 55. We got 2 that were still at risk, and we're still working. So we're doing everything we can under the
So if housing was
timeframe.
in fact a priority for you, wouldn't you skim it to find out which priorities or how can you actually make housing accessible? Because my question is, we looked at and we saw that there was a significant gains were made towards homelessness from January of 2023 to 2024. Right now, we're seeing that there's a potential for us to lose the momentum that we've been gaining. And in addition to that, when we talk about the service purchase program, which you said that you would like to terminate or you're terminating, we want to know what are the other instances, or what do you have in place for our homeless veterans to protect them?
The issue in termination of ASP is that we are looking to do everything we possibly can that is already currently there for veterans in the VA for assistance, whether it be their mortgage or other things. We also can work with other agencies such as HUD and others to find ways to help them as we go forward. I'm willing to look and move forward anything we can without sacrificing also the bigger picture. I'm not, unfortunately, able to just simply pick the areas, especially in a Dole Act, where I want them to get all of it implemented for all of the caregivers as we go forward. And I think Donald Trump, just a few, and with Congressman Pappas as well, that EO also talked about using facilities, the VA, which has been ignored, and frankly, under previous administrations, was allowed land that we had that we could have helped homelessness in LA was actually farmed out to private schools and ball fields. So I'm trying to look at it from a perspective. You and I actually agree probably more than, unfortunately, this came off, and I apologize for that. We agree on this issue that we need to look at what we can do within the confines of what we have.
And so how quickly do you believe that you'll start prioritizing or putting this in place? Because I have to answer to my veterans also, to make sure that we see them and we understand that housing is so critically important, especially towards their dignity and the contract that we have with our veterans, which is to protect them and make sure they live with dignity.
I agree with you, and I'll be happy to work with you and talk about specific instances, especially Florida. I have Georgia is my home. I don't get there very often anymore, but it's a very similar situation for us on housing cost and housing quality. Any of those information within the Dole Act, we're going to continue to implement. And if there's ways that we can help expand something we currently already have, I'm willing to look at that as well. But I think this is just where we need to make sure that we're doing stuff that help and doesn't either have a negative impact some other place with other programs.
And so my last question is going to be really quick, even though it's a huge issue. It's about the dismantling of the Office of Equity Assurance. We just had a roundtable where we had many of our minority veterans there who talked about the disparities and them actually drawing down their benefits, specifically when it comes to PTSD. How are you going to handle these situations, specifically when that office has been dismantled?
That office, again, being dismantled has nothing to do with the fact of my commitment to make sure any veteran who's earned a benefit gets their benefit, no matter what their background, what their skin color, or anything
Specifically, the
else.
disparities I wanted to point to. How are you going to handle the disparities? Because we have years and years of documentation, especially when it came to housing, where we saw different generations that were disadvantaged. How are you going to do that specifically when this office has actually been dismantled?
I think it's when you're actually supposed to be doing your job, it takes a secretary to lead and make sure that our organizations are not doing anything away from that.
Will you be handling that? Will you be handling it? Because you said it takes a secretary.
It takes a secretary to give leadership to the organizations that are supposed to be approving our benefits. Congressman, if you have somebody who's been discriminated against or not getting the benefits that they've earned, then I'll be happy to work with you to make sure that's rectified. But that's something against the law that we're not going to break law. We're going to actually give the benefits that they've earned.
Okay, so specifically, should they contact your office then? Because this office has been dismantled. Who should they reach out to?
Well, the question is not the office that was not a part of the benefits that they weren't getting. Why are they not contacting the office of the benefits in which they were denied?
Excuse me, sir. The question specifically is who should they contact?
Which benefit are they looking for? If they should call VBA, which is the benefits, that would be the area to call. If it's a
so there's not going to be, the elimination now is going to be shifted to different offices. Thank you. I yield back.
So here's what happened. Representative Cherfilus-McCormick is grilling Secretary Collins, hammering him over and over, demanding yes or no answers about whether he prioritizes veterans housing. And you know what? I get it. On the surface, it seems like a simple question. But folks, politics isn't that simple. Our veterans deserve more than slogans and sound bites. Let's break it down. Cherfilus-McCormick wanted a yes or no answer to whether housing is a priority. But Secretary Collins, to his credit, kept saying, look, I prioritize all veterans' benefits. And as a patriot, I respect that. You don't cherry-pick which benefits matter. You don't pit housing against health care or against caregiver support or against job training. Veterans earned all of it. They put their lives on the line for this country, and they shouldn't have to settle for politicians playing games with their needs. Let's be honest. This yes or no routine is all about sound bites for the evening news. It's not about real solutions. Then, Cherfilus-McCormick starts listing off all these flexible assistance items, transportation, hygiene products, and so on. Now, I absolutely agree. Our homeless veterans need help. No American who served this country should be left behind. But here's the thing. The left's answer is always more programs, more bureaucracy, more spending. And then they act shocked when the government is slow to implement these programs, or when there's overlap, waste, or fraud. Collins says he'll do everything he can through the existing programs, and that's the right approach. We don't need to bloat the VA with new, unaccountable programs before we've even fixed the ones we have. Why don't we make sure the VA is actually efficient instead of just throwing more money at the problem? Next, Cherfilus-McCormick demands a yes or no on whether VA-owned land should be used to address homelessness. Collins says, if the land is suitable. Again, that's common sense. Not all VA land is right for housing, and the last thing we need is politicians in Washington making blanket decisions without looking at the facts on the ground. What's really going on here is the left wants to nationalize more and more property, use it for their pet projects, and call it compassion. But as conservatives, we believe in solutions that actually work, not just more government control. Now, Cherfilus-McCormick tries to corner Collins about the Elizabeth Dole Act, asking why all its provisions aren't implemented yet. Collins explains, the act came in at the tail end of the last administration. He's been in office only 4 months, and they're already working on 64 of the 72 provisions. Folks, this is real accountability. This is what happens when you have a leader who's focused on actual progress, not just scoring political points. Collins is taking responsibility, tracking their progress, and being transparent. But the left wants instant results from a government they've spent decades making more and more complicated. You can't have it both ways. There's a lot of noise about ending something called this service purchase program. Here's my question. If a program isn't working, or if it's costing taxpayers more than it helps veterans, why should it continue? We need leaders willing to make tough calls, cut waste, and focus resources where they actually help. That's what real patriotism looks like, not just rubber stamping every new idea. Finally, Cherfilus-McCormick brings up equity assurance and claims minority veterans are being left behind. Now, let me be very clear. Any veteran who is denied benefits they've earned, for any reason, should have recourse. That's what America is about, equality before the law. But the left's answer is always another office, another bureaucracy. What does Collins say? He says if someone's been wronged, they should report it and he'll make it right. That's leadership. That's accountability. That's the American way. At the end of the day, this exchange shows you exactly what's wrong with Washington. Too many politicians using our veterans to score political points, demanding yes or no answers to complex problems, and pushing for more government instead of better government. As patriots, we believe in honoring our veterans, not with empty promises, but with real action and real accountability. We need leaders who will fix what's broken, cut the red tape, and make sure every veteran gets what they earned, no matter their background, their state, or their politics. If you agree, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Let's make sure the voices of real America are heard. Our veterans deserve it. This country deserves it. And we, the people, will hold Washington accountable. God bless you. God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America.